some losses, I'm still winning. I'ma keep on winning. There was nobody looking out for me.
What's good, y'all? It's Topshada here, and today I have a different type of video. I don't really want to. It's about cars, but it's more of my story. Shout out to my boy Gabe. He hit me up and asked me to do this video. Man, that man Gabe, bro, I appreciate you a lot, man. You always been supportive, even when we was playing football and back then and all that. So I figured I gotta put this video out. I've been contemplating it for a couple of days now, just trying to figure out how to put like my 20 years of existence and like why I do what I do into one video. But I might as well this is raw and uncut. This is off the dome. I'm gonna just try to go best. This ain't scripted. This isn't written down. I'm gonna just start off from where it was when I was younger. So basically, if you don't know my real name is Rashad. I'm from Boston. Most of y'all know that. Born and raised. My parents was immigrants. They came here. I think my dad came here when he was 20. My mom came here when they were both in their 20s. I'm the youngest sibling. All my siblings are older than me. I'm the youngest, and right now I'm 20. But man, my parents came from nothing, and like seeing that and hearing their stories, and like my parents just became citizens of the United States like not too long ago, man. Like today's November 13th. Yesterday was my dad's birthday, bro. He turned 63, I believe. Like he's getting old, and like as a kid, I was playing football a lot heavily. So like it was always football. Like I really wanted. Like I was just saying, yeah, I'm gonna go to the league. I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna go to college, and I'm gonna take care of the family. I'm gonna be a millionaire. Like I always told my parents growing up, like I'm gonna be a millionaire. And I'm a short dude, you know. So like trying to have that confidence growing up when like you was always the smallest kid in the room. I mean, you get over it. It makes you go harder, if that makes sense. Like I always had something to prove since a youngin'. So it's like I feel like that just molded me into becoming like a go-getter and like really motivated. Like it just came to the point where like nobody can stop me, and I don't care what nobody says. If I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it, and can't nobody stop me. If you feel me. So let's start to kick this into gear. So when I was younger, I always like had a thing for YouTube. Like I don't know. I just learned how to edit on my own. Like I used to steal my dad's laptop and just in his camera. I used to get yelled at for it, but I feel like I was just, it just came so natural. Like my page is still up from when so basically I want to backtrack a little bit. So in middle school, I used to ask my parents for, basically my mom for like the newest cleats and all that, because I was playing Pop Warner and all that. And my mom used to tell me like, yeah, I can't get this right now. But like as I look back now, I understand because like we have a nice house now, and I see like my parents never really wore like the designer and all that, but they made sure it was good. Like they did what they had to do. So what I used to do is after school, I wouldn't really hop on the game. I'd go and I don't know what that sound was, but I used to just after school I would go and rake my neighbor's yards for like cash and like shovel. So I'd be making like $40, or if I shoveled, like one neighbor would give me like $80 just to shovel the house, and I'd come back and I didn't have a card at the time. And I'd be like, Mom, here's $40. Can you order me these cleats or whatever, or this gear and all that? And that's how I would just get my things, and then I just make YouTube videos on them. Now that I got the YouTube side of things down, I was fearless as a kid, and right now I feel like growing up they put so many like fears and limitations on you. Like you start to like, I don't know, you are what you think. And now that I became a little bit more spiritual growing up and learning that like I can do whatever I want to do, it's a little different. But yeah, so growing up, it was just football. Like Pop Warner, I was the running back. I was always one of the best players on the team. So I played running back and I played defensive back, and just growing up in Pop Warner, I was just always good at football, just naturally gifted. I'd be home, I'd be doing push-ups, I'd have like these 15-pound dumbbells, just trying to get bigger and all that. So now that you know, like the Pop Warner side of things, I know the footage I have up is blurry. It was like it was a long time ago. Yeah, well, time went by fast. But to fast forward to things, now that high school, I went to New Mission High School. I didn't play my freshman year because something with my dad. But I didn't play my freshman year, but I ended up playing sophomore year, and then I played junior year. Junior year was when like I started doing like the 7-on-7 things. Like that was when I started like changing my game. Like my game for football went from being good to like actually like really killing niggas. So I was like, I was really like really invested. That's when that was a time where like I really started to like kick in with training and all that, and getting the trainer and like really working on my game so I can really get to the next level, if you know what I mean. The clips above, this is when I went to Ohio for USA, and so this was like I think the summer of like my junior year that just passed. So this was the summer where I was looking to transfer schools and get out of the Boston public schools, and so my mom, they scraped up the money and they got me to go to Ohio just to compete against other people from all around the country for the USA camp. So that was pretty huge. I had a lot of fun. So now for my senior year, I ended up going to a private school. The name of the school was Pope John High School in Everett. It was a Catholic private. This is where life started to take a turn. This was the year, my senior year, we went to the Super Bowl. So Super Bowl, you play state chip, you play at the Patriot Stadium, all that. So we ended up losing, but the experience was nice. It was really overall a good experience, and now that I look back, a couple things went wrong. So when we went here, we thought that I was reclassing so I could be a junior again and get an extra year, but the school ended up shutting down. And then I went to CM. I was with them for a little bit, trying to go to another private school, but then like the situation was weird. I don't even have my diploma in hand still, like, and it's years later. But I'm not really worried about that. Um, so this forced me to take a year off before I went to college. Now I was working and working and working. So when you're working and working like that, you don't really like you get caught up in the real world rather than being in school. So it's like at this point, I just wanted to make money. So like I just wanted to make money. Like I got my first car. So I'm gonna get into the whole car situation and how I became like a car person. I always been a car person, it's in my blood, but I'm gonna get into the whole situation. But before we get into that situation, right now you're seeing clips of 7-on-7. So basically, this was a league that like helped us get more exposure and all that. Because coming from Mass, we don't really get a lot of exposure. So this is the best of the best in the city in high school competing just to become on an elite team to go travel in Michigan and play against the people in Michigan. And I'm talking, these are people with like offers, like Notre Dame offers, like these are like big time people in the city who are good. So at this point, I ended up making the team. We went to Michigan. We visited University of Michigan. We visited Eastern Michigan, and we competed against other big time players in Michigan. And that was a great experience. Like I don't miss any of that. And so at that time, I didn't know that what was gonna happen with the private school was gonna, everything was gonna get shut down. I didn't know that I wasn't gonna be able to reclass. Like right now, at this moment of time, I thought, like, yeah, I'm gonna be playing another year, and so I'm doing all I can. So what I'm doing, I'm working out, I'm this and that. So like I said, I'm really working hard. This is the summer, I believe. What is this? I forgot what year it is. It might be 2019. 2019, yeah. So I'm working really hard. I'm training. This is when I was with Sweet Feet Brandon. Most of the people in Boston, they know him. He trains really good people. But I didn't train with him for a long period of time. But let's not get into this. So yeah, I'm training. I'm working out, and things just wasn't going my way with the school. So yeah, I took a year off, and around this time, I bought my first car, which was a '97 Civic. So now to get into more of the car aspect of how I became who I am, I got this '97 Civic. My dad helped me get it actually because I was just starting to work. I wasn't really working that much. I was working one day at Papagino's on Sundays all day just because I had school. So I was just working one day at Papagino's, and I ended up the manager at Papagino's actually ended up bringing me to JP Licks, which is the ice cream place up here in Boston. So I ended up working there, and I ended up getting this car just to get me around. It was a nice little car. 180,000 miles on it, and I had a rust hole on it, like automatic. It was a perfect first car. Long story short, I was 18. I was turning 18 when I got this car. When I first bought it, I didn't even have my license yet. I ended up taking the road test a couple days after my birthday. But I ended up I got a new bumper for it. I put on SI wheels. What else did I do? I put on a lip, and then I didn't really touch the interior. I changed out like the battery, all that good stuff. I forgot exactly what problem the car was giving me. It wasn't no major problem. It was just like a I don't know. I think it had something to do with the frame, but I ended up flipping it for 1100. Now, here's where things start to get interesting. My guy Mike, I don't know if you guys know him, but I met him when I went to Pope John. I don't know if you'll ever hear or see this video, bro, but I really do appreciate you. Cause now my boy Mike took me it's like an hour drive to go see a beat up SI that I was about to buy for 1,000. I'm kind of glad I didn't get that. I'm kind of glad. And I didn't know how to drive stick, so we ended up driving all the way back to New Hampshire just to cop a 2007 regular Civic EX. Was it an EX? Yeah, I believe it was. Nah, I'm not too sure. But I didn't know how to drive stick at all, and I actually got stranded this night waiting for a tow truck because I did not know how to drive stick, and I was scared to drive it home. So I was out till like 1 a.m. My mom was calling me like, "Where you at? Where you at?" And I couldn't drive. I didn't know how to drive the car. I lied to the tow truck guy saying like something was wrong with it. But now, with that being said, as a young kid, I used to tell my two older brothers. I have two older brothers and a sister. And they were heavily into cars, and I was always in the passenger seat. We always played car racing, like the Need for Speeds, the Fast and Furious. So I was always around cars because of my brothers. And what really got me into like really hooking up cars was that my brother, my older brother, he had a blue SI that I was really in love with, and I was like, you know what? When I get older, I'm gonna recreate that, and that's where the coupe comes in, like the 2012 coupe. If you know, I had that before, but this car that I got was a tribute to my brother. He still has it, his '08 SI, and I really used to like that car. So I told my brothers that when I grow up, I'd remake their cars. So growing up, it was like I was going to get into hooking up cars. Like whenever I got the money and get cars, I was gonna hook it up. It was bound to happen. So with this '07 Civic, what I did was I did a lot of things to it. I ended up buying some black Accord wheels, and I painted my calipers. I put a new bumper. I installed fog lights. I got them wired. Um, but what else did I do? I did dark tints. I put the LEDs inside. I made them blue, so it was like a black and blue theme. I ended up getting a blue SI spoiler. I don't know why I thought that was cool at some point, but I put a blue SI spoiler on it, and I put a whole front HFP kit in the front, and I added like a hood bra. Like, man, this was how you know, like I was really like a kid. I was just throwing stuff on it. It looked decent, but come on now. And I ended up losing this car because I got T-boned by an Uber driver at night. So when this happened, I was kind of in shock a little bit because, as you can see, the weather conditions, and I was so close from hitting like a tree. Shout out to my best friend from like since high school, cause Mitch, man, you a real one. Cause he was in school at the time, and I didn't have no car, and I had to get to work. I was trying to, make some money to get a new car. So Mitch gave me his car. He like lent me his car for a whole month, and bro, I cannot thank him so much. But that led to me saving money, and I ended up getting the 2012 Civic. Now, like I told you, my brother inspired me to get this. Like all the cars I got back then was because my brothers had them. And my brother had what was it? I think it was a 2013 blue Civic SI Coupe. Now here's where things get a little bit interesting. So this is where I started my like financing thing and building credit because my parents couldn't really help me on that end. So like I've been getting these cars on my own. So everything I did, I went by myself. So this is when I went to go see the 2012 Civic, and I was instantly in love with it because again, my brother he had it before. I knew it wasn't the SI, but at the time, I didn't really have the money for the SI, and I was still worried about going to school and football. So I was just trying to keep everything low, just so like I wouldn't have a problem with it when I was in school. So this is a little bit before the pandemic hit. So I was just working and all that, and I was choosing which school I was gonna go to. Now, in terms of school for like football, I was talking to like D1 AA's, D1 here and there, and then it wasn't nothing serious. I didn't get no offer. I spoke to a couple D2s, and mostly D3s was interested. You know how that goes. But Navy, I was speaking to them, and I didn't want to go into the Navy. That's just not my cup of tea. But anyways, back to the car stuff. So the pandemic started, and this is where I started hooking up my car because there was really nothing else to do. So I was just training and hooking up my car. So now the first couple of things I ended up doing to it was lowering it on race line coilovers. Man, broke boy shit. Anyway, let me not say that. But yeah, I ended up tinting it. I added the hood bra again. I put a front lip on it, and just all that. And next I ended up buying some wheels off my man's J-Ro. I don't know if you guys, obviously you guys don't know him, but people in Boston, you probably know who J-Ro is. He has one of the best Accords in Boston. So now, as you could probably tell, my love for cars is really, really growing because like now I'm like really hands-on with my cars. Like I'm hooking them up. I'm changing the way they look. I'm like making them stand out right now. And so throughout all this, I was working with a new trainer. Shout out to Josh. He introduced me to Tariq. Tariq's like I look up to that man. He's a real big deal to me, man. Like he transformed my game to the next level, and I cannot really thank that man enough because if I haven't met him, I didn't think my game would have got to that level. Now to bring it back to the cars, the reason why I was training so hard and things, because I sold my wheels. I was going a different route. As you can see, I bought the HFP kit for the car, and I added like my own homemade like side skirt extensions on the car. So right now I was just waiting for wheels to come in. So I was just training with Tariq out on the field. So around this time, it was like during July, and this was like when COVID like really like started becoming like a real thing. I'm gonna put quotations around that. But so while COVID was becoming a real thing, I was working less. So I was just every other day, I was just at the field, just trying to get better. Because at this point, they canceled the season for next year. So it was just working, and cars, and just field and car and work and field and car, and that was just what my life was then. And by this time, my wheels came in, my white wheels. So your boy was happy. For the most part, what I wanted the Civic to look like was basically complete. And like at this time, like I was doing this like changing up my car so fast. I was getting to the point where I was kind of getting bored of it. And at this time, I was getting tatted up a lot too. So I was getting a lot of tattoos. Like my appearance was changing. I was getting better looking. I'm working out, so I'm getting a little bit buffer. I was a little bit skinny back then. So everything's starting to change. And I was like, you know what? If they're canceling school, I'm gonna go and get my Civic hatchback I always wanted. Like I'm gonna go get a blue one. And it was just from there, it's like that go-getter mentality. Like can't nobody tell me nothing. I can get whatever I want. It was just kicking in. Now here's where we kind of made a bad decision, and it came back to bite me in the ass. So I was so eager just to hop into my dream whip at the time, and mind you, my dream whip kept changing because it was like I can get more at the time, and so I bought this car. Well, I financed it when it had high mileage. Now that came back to bite me in the ass because it started throwing misfires, but that was later on. And I ended up I lowered it, I tinted it down, I gave it a muffler delete, and then I ended up throwing some new wheels on it. Man, I was gonna get crazy for Honda Day, and I started throwing misfires and all that. So I was like, man, maybe it's not worth it. It has 100K miles. Now, before I continue on about this car, so I was still working out, but this time I was in the gym because, winter time was here. So I was just really, I was getting bigger. Like Tariq had me getting big. He had me on a meal plan. Like I was just getting bigger, faster, stronger, getting ready for the season. And like I said, the car started throwing misfires. So I changed out the ignition coils. It's talking about it needs a new fuel injector. So I was like, I'm really not trying to deal with that. It's a 2017 and it's having those type of problems. I was told my dad, I'm like, maybe it's just time to get rid of it. So I went to go see ILX. Now, funny thing is, when I went to go see the ILX, I didn't end up getting it because I forgot the exact reason why, but I just realized it wasn't really what I wanted. I wanted it at the time, but I'm kind of glad I didn't get it because I ended up seeing the Supra there at the same dealership. It was a Toyota dealership that had an ILX. Well, you know how the story goes. I ended up trading in my hatch for the Civic Type R. Now, I did not plan this, and at this time, coming from like this was like December, January-ish, I still had the blue hatch. So now, here is where things took a turn, right? I was in a dark space mentally. I don't know what was going on, but I ended up having my spiritual awakening at this time. And so I realized that I'm like, why do I keep trying and trying and trying with football, and it's like it's not getting nowhere. The schools aren't accepting me, like this and that. It's like, bro, maybe this isn't my calling. Like maybe like it's time. And mind you, I paid $16,000 for just one semester of college, and that wasn't even on dorm. That was online. So that I would have been in 100K in debt. So I was like, you know what? I'm dropping out. And that was after one semester. Good grades, everything. My parents were shocked when I told them that because they're like, you've been playing football your whole life. You sure this is something you really want to do? Like, everybody was down, and I just told my parents, I was like, man, look, I got a plan. I love cars. Cars is what I want to do. And they didn't like it at first, but they respected me more as an adult and as a growing up, like as a man growing up. Like that I'm calling the shots for my life and taking taking advantage and basically taking control with my life. So basically my whole mindset changed. Like I developed this attitude. Like I started manifesting a lot of things, writing everything down, every goal I wanted, everything I wanted. I just started writing it down, manifesting. I started meditating. Boy, like I became so powerful. Like just knowing I'm so powerful and I can really get anything in this world, and like I can't care what other people think of me or just anything in general. Whatever I wanted, I had to go get, and I showed it. I haven't kept a car for more than 6 months. And you would think you've seen all these cars that I just went through, and you're like, damn, bro, it probably took years, bro. It's been like going on 3 years, bro. It's going on 3 years, dog, or two, probably. I'm not too sure. But you guys know what I ended up doing with the Type R. I was the youngest owner in my city. When I got it, I was 19. I turned 20 like 2 months after, but I started making a name for myself. I had Instagram pages before, but I ended up deleting it, and then I came up with Topshada, and I don't know, man. My name's Rashad, so people call me Shaw, and I was like, yo, I'm a Topshada, like. So I was just like, yeah, Topshada. That's it. Nobody's known as Topshada, but I was like, that's me. Yeah, so y'all know I ended up joining a crew named Country Boy Mafia. Those my guys now. We like a family. We growing. I love them. Shout out to y'all. But yeah, I ended up bagging a Type R. Like I just started making more of a name for myself, and I realized that cars it was always my thing. Not even just cars, just making videos in general. As you've seen from the footage when I was younger, you can even go back and watch the YouTube videos from when I was like 13 or 12. It's just always been something I was just natural at. You can say I'm gifted, but I was a kid editing myself and making videos, not giving one fuck. You feel me? And yeah, Now here's where everything really does happen for a reason. Cause remember the Supra I brought up when I seen the ILX? Now there's a video I'm gonna put up next. Just listen to what exactly I see in the video, and mind you, look at where my Type R was at the time.
One of Boston's best.
Now, mind you, this is where I say things do happen for a reason. Because remember, I had my eyes on the Supra when I went to see the ILX, but I couldn't really get it at the time. You see how things fall into place. It's crazy. You can really manifest like anything you want in this world, and I really want you guys to take that from my experiences. Don't let nobody put no limits on you. What I do is I've been taking breaks off of social media, really. And I don't really like to tell my moves. Whenever I'm going for something, I just disappear. Simple, just disappear. And I remember I seen the Supra like all over my time. Like I was seeing it in person everywhere I went. Well, not really everywhere I went, but like all over my social media. So I shared it, and I was like, I'm gonna get you on my life. Now, dreams don't work unless you do. So in order to really fully manifest it, I had to see what it's like to be in a Supra. So I drove to Connecticut. I didn't tell nobody, not even my parents. I drove to Connecticut to see one and test drive one. This one had high mileage and it was asking for too much. So really the past 2 months I was just like off social media and just figuring out which move to make. And then I found the Supra in New York. And now you guys really know the rest of the story. You're really up to par. You just didn't know the background. But yeah, I'm the youngest in my city with a Supra right now. And I made a promise and I wrote it down in my manifestation book that when I got the Supra, I was going to take YouTube more serious. So I've been a little bit more consistent. There's a lot of things I want to do with this car and that I'm going to do with this car. And I plan on documenting it all. And we just grow from here. I feel like I'm doing what I really want to do. And so nobody can stop me. And the only person that's going to get in my way is me. So I'm going to continue doing what I want to do and what I love, and I appreciate the support. If you're not already, follow me on Instagram at Topshada, TikTok, same Topshada, everything in the description. Also, don't forget 10% off, One Up Lighting, get your LED, all your underglow kits, you already know. But like I said, appreciate the support, and we're on the come up, yo. So I'm getting a lot of support early, so I hope we grow and become one big family. You watch me just modify my cars and get them to where I want to be and just grow up with me. But yeah, man, that's my story. Topshada out, man. Subscribe, like, comment, do what you gotta do. And if you stayed this far, drop a 100 emoji for me, please. Your boy. Alright, y'all.